Welcome to the training site for DERA's environmental farming scheme. This training is part of a series relating to capital items. Please note that capital items may be referred to as non-productive investments or NPIs. This training module is for the capital item Parkland Fruit or Standard Native Tree Guard. This is an additional capital item, which means it is not available on its own but must be applied for in conjunction with an EFS option. For the training, you will need to watch this video, and this is followed by a number of questions which you must answer. There are further details about the capital items on the Environmental Farming Scheme section of the DERA website. This training module covers a number of aspects, including the aim of this option and the amount that you can complete. It gives certain things you must do, and it outlines the specification of the scheme. It gives you the type of checks that DERA will carry out on the work, and finishes by giving payment rates for the investment. The aim of this option is to protect newly planted parkland or fruit or standard trees from damage by grazing animals and also from wild animals. It is to maintain and enhance the biodiversity value of an EFS hire site where it is included as part of the site-specific remedial management plan. Concerning the amount to be completed, the amount as detailed in the agreement is the amount that must be done. There's a minimum of one item in the investment, and the maximum will be as per the maximum agreement value. This capital item is established in year 1 and must be retained and maintained in the same area for the duration of the EFS agreement. You must adhere to the scheme requirements and controls and to the specifications as detailed in the capital item information sheet. These are summarised here. For example, you must have the work completed by the end of year 1. You must erect a claim number in the correct location in the field or fields where they've been approved. Everything must be erected to specification as provided. It must be stock proof and also rabbit proof. And field records must be kept detailing the location, the numbers erected, and the date erected. New materials must be used, and the posts and rails must be constructed from sawn, pressure-treated timber. The guard must form a minimum perimeter of at least 6 metres, and there must be 4 rails, each 90 millimetres wide and 32 millimetres thick. There's a minimum of 1.2 metres height from the ground to the top of the top rail. Further specifications are that the post must be at least 95 millimetres by 95 millimetres sawn timber and set at centres not greater than 1.8 metres. 1 row of barbed or plain wire along the top and also along the bottom of the guard. Woven wire and rabbit-proof fencing must be attached, and all the fencing wire must be properly strained and secure. Regarding rabbit-proof fencing, the galvanised wire netting must be at least 1.05 metres wide and with a mesh no larger than 31 millimetres. The top edge has to be fixed to the guard at least 75 centimetres or 0.75 metres from ground level, and the bottom edge is buried and secured in the ground. This diagram illustrates the specification for the Parkland or Fruit or Standard Native Tree Guard. And note please that the required overall height is 1.2 metres, and also note the required sizes for posts and rails. tree guards can be of different shapes, and this is a plan view of a square guard. This illustration shows sides of 1.5 meters, which meets the specification. However, we recommend that the sides are 1.8 meters. This is a plan view of a triangular tree guard. Note that the post centers must not be set more than 1.8 meters apart, and that the overall perimeter must be at least 6 meters. As indicated previously, you need to keep records of the works undertaken. You need to keep your records first of all at field level, and then also they need to be kept each year of any works undertaken. You may wish to use the format shown here, which is available on the DERA website, or you may prefer to use your own format to keep the required information. Please note that there is a separate training module on record keeping, which will give you some help with this aspect of the scheme. DERA will undertake certain checks to verify that the works proposed and paid for have been completed and are to the required standard. The range of checks for this capital item will be based on the requirements and controls as detailed in the information sheet. Checks can be of a number of types and can include, first of all, office-based administrative checks. Secondly, they can be technologically based checks, such as control with remote sensing. And thirdly, they can be on-site checks, such as rapid field visits or on-the-spot checks. Some of the checks that may be carried out are summarised in the next 2 slides. DERA will check that the work is completed by the end of year 1 of the agreement. They will check that the claimed number of guards are erected in the correct location in the field or fields where they've been approved. They'll check that new material is used and that the guards are stock proof and rabbit proof. They'll also check that the native tree guard is installed to the specification provided, and they'll check that field records are kept, including the location, the number and the date installed. In terms of the payment for this investment, the option is paid at £143.40 per guard in a one-off payment. And finally, this is the last slide of this training module. There are certain things that you must do next, and these are indicated here. You now must complete the questions for this capital item, which are found on the lesson site below the video. It is essential that you do this so as to register that your training on this capital item is complete. You should also read the information sheet that relates to this capital item. This is found on the lesson site and also on the EFS section of the DERA website. And finally, if you have further options or capital items in your agreement, you can take the training for them after you complete the questions for this capital item.